Hello YouTube, Gunnar here. It's another great day to be an American. Let freedom reign. Well guys, I was finally able to get out to the range and test out some hand loads that I had put together for my 7mm-08. It's a Winchester Model 70. It has a Nikon Monarch 3 2.5 to 10 power scope. And I am really liking this glass on this gun. It's a great combination. It's a 1-inch tube. It just has the right look and feel to it for this Model 70 featherweight. And the 10 power is great for being able to see my shots at 100 yards when I'm doing hand load testing. And the 2.5 power will be great in the woods, so I'll have a nice wide field of view. What we decided to load up and test out were a couple different bullets here. I had a 120 grain Nosler ballistic tip, and I tested some 130 grain Spear boat tail. And these were really reasonably priced. And I loaded both of these with Varget, and we'll talk about load data here in a minute. And then I loaded up some 140 grain Nosler ballistic tip, and I knew my gun was probably going to like these because I had shot some factory loads with the 140 grain Nosler ballistic tips, and they did quite well. And I loaded those with the H4350. So I figured that combination was going to hopefully give me at least some good results. So what we loaded up were, for 120 grain ballistic tips, we had Varget starting at 43, going up to 44 grains in half grain increments, 12 rounds. And with the Spear, we loaded up 41 to 42 grains, going up in half grain increments with Varget again, 12 rounds. And the 140 grain ballistic tips, we loaded up with H4350, starting at 46, going up to 47 grains. Half grain increments, we loaded up 12 rounds. So let's go ahead and take a look at the results. So before we started the hand load testing, I did shoot a couple rounds just to check zero. I shot Hornady American Whitetail 129 grain SSTs, and those didn't look too bad, just 2 rounds. This ammo, I had a box that wouldn't even fire for me, and this other box, I've had some inconsistent results with accuracy, but we'll keep finishing that box up and see if they shoot worth anything, and then, you know, it is cheap ammo. We shot at 100 yards. It was 70 degrees Fahrenheit, sunny, and it was really only 0 to 5 mile per hour winds. So we started out with the 120 grain ballistic tips, and we had 4 shots going to 1.33 inches, and this was at the 43 grain load level. So those 4 shots gave us an average velocity of 2787 feet per second, an extreme spread of 4281, and a standard deviation of 19.36. We then moved up to the 43.5 grain charge level. We had 3 shots going to 1.55 inches, and we had a flyer. And that was a called flyer, and I definitely kind of jerked it to the right as I was pulling the trigger. So at 43.5 grains, an average velocity of 2830 feet per second, extreme spread of 12.84, and a standard deviation of 4. So the stats at 43.5 grains looked pretty good. I was a little concerned looking at the primers. They look kind of flattened. We'll look at the brass here in a minute. So I did not go up to the 44 grain level. I did not shoot those. But I think I might still, because it didn't look as bad once I got home as I thought. So then we moved on to the 130 grain Spears. Our first load level at 41 grains, we had 3 shots going to 0.98 inches, and the fourth opened it up to 1.91 inches. So not great accuracy results here either. At the 41 grain charge level, we had an average velocity of 2641 feet per second, extreme spread of 50.29, and a standard deviation of 25.47. Moving on up to 41.5 grain charge level, we had 4 shots going to 1.83 inches. Again, not great results. So at 41.5 grains, we had 4 shots going to 41.5 grains, we had an average velocity of 2667 feet per second, extreme spread of 4651, and a standard deviation of 19.05. Moving on up to the 42 grain charge level, we had 3 shots going to 1.23 inches, and a 4th shot was a big flyer here, and I didn't even measure that. So at 42 grains, we had an average velocity of 2714, an extreme spread of 48.24, and a standard deviation of 20.61. So none of the stats were great, and none of the groups were great with that 130 grain spear and the Varget powder. Moving on to what was hopefully going to give us better results, the 140 grain nodular ballistic tip. And sure enough, our first 4-shot group there at 46 grains shot into 0.97 inches. That's about what I'm seeing with the factory loads. And those were the Federal Premium. So looking at the stats, with 46 grains of H4350, we had an average velocity of 27.29, an extreme spread of 27.67, and a standard deviation of 14.79. So the stats were pretty good for that as well. Moving on up to the 46.5 grain charge level, we had 4 shots going to 0.74 inches, and you can see we had 3 that were touching. So maybe with a little less shooter air, we're looking at a ½ inch possibly. 46.5 grains, we had an average velocity of 27.47 feet per second, an extreme spread of 43.05, and a standard deviation of 19.46. So group got better and stats got worse. That seems to be the way it goes sometimes. Moving on up to the 47 grain load level, we had 3 shots going to 0.99 inches, and the 4th shot opened it up to 1.40 inches. So we start to see the group size open up here. Definitely saw some almost looked like horizontal stringing. At the 47 grain load level, we had an average velocity of 27.47 feet per second, extreme spread of 24.30, and a standard deviation of 11.61. So the groups got worse and the stats got better. Fancy that. So we'll go ahead and we'll take a look here at the brass. You can see I got some rounds there that I did not shoot. So we can go ahead and see what these 120 grain ballistic tips look like loaded up. That's a nice looking round. Sharp looking. Let's take a look at the brass. This is 120 grain ballistic tips with Varget loaded at 43 grains. Nothing to be too concerned there about. Moving on up to 43.5 grains. Primer started to look a little flatter. And that's where I was getting a little concerned, at least in the bright sunlight. Maybe just a slight cratering of the primer. But not bad enough, I think I can go ahead and load those up. Or shoot those other rounds. So the 130 grain spears. These were at the lowest charge level. 41 grains. These actually look worse than the highest charge level of the previous one. I should mention I am using Hornady brass, as you can see, and these were Winchester large rifle primers. So more cratering on this. Let's move up to the next load level, which was 41.5 grains with the spears. Looks about the same, even more primer cratering. I even shot these up to 42, I think it was. And kind of the same thing. Yeah, from what I'm seeing here, I don't think I'm gonna play around with a different powder with the spear, I think. So this was the 46 grain load level with the nozzlers, so the H4350. I don't know, they all kind of look the same, these primers, compared to the spears in this one. Maybe I'm loading a little hot, but the velocities seem about right. These are 46.5 grains. And then this would have been up, this would have been at 47 grains. So we're definitely seeing some flattened primers and some cratering around it. I don't know. Hard to tell if we got any other marks going on there. Let's take another look at another one here. But that's what the brass looked like. So I wasn't too excited about the results I got with the 120 grain ballistic tips or the 130 grain spear bowtail soft points. I did, however, like the results I got with the 140 grain nodular ballistic tips, so that was kind of the savior of this range session. I'm looking forward to trying a few more different loads with these bullets, maybe some different powders with the 120s and 130s or different load levels. So with the nodular 140 grain ballistic tips, I'm looking at fine-tuning that load and getting some rounds ready for the fall deer hunting season. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. You guys be safe out there.